I'm Jarrett Hughes with Hydroscapes Pool and Patio. We are going to shoot a series of videos to teach you how to take care of your pool equipment. Basically a online pool school. First off today we are going to talk about pool filters. There's two separate types of filters. There's sand filters and there's cartridge filters. Cartridge filter being the most common that we put on our pools. So we're going to discuss the inner workings of that today. So when we come in to check our equipment, when we're doing weekly maintenance, and this pump and filtration system is running, right now it's off, but the first thing you want to check is your pressure gauge. And this particular Jandy filter actually show you clean, dirty, Hayward, Pentair, they all kind of do the similar thing. So when this pressure gauge is up above 20 psi, it's probably time to clean your filters. Also, sometimes these gauges aren't working properly, so if you see like low flow in the pool, your bubblers aren't bubbling like they should, probably your filters are dirty. Also, one other thing is your chlorinator. If your chlorine tabs aren't dissolving, usually you have a flow issue, which is it's hard for the water to pass through the filter itself. So, three tools you're going to need. Well, two tools. A pair of channel locks or a oil filter wrench for a car works great to loosen off this nut and drain the water out of the canister itself. Okay, the next thing you need, this particular Jandy filters take a 9/16 wrench or ratchet. A ratchet's a little faster. So you're going to loosen off this nut right here to pull this belt or this band off. And then inside, once this is off and exposed, the lid comes off and there's 4 filters inside here. First things first, we're going to pull the drain plug out of the filter. Now, I'm having a little trouble getting this actual cap should come off, but sometimes the whole thing will come out. Whoever put it on last time put it on too tight. But anyway, we're going to drain the water out. I'm going to go ahead and pull this plug out. And be careful too, if this does come out, there is an O-ring right here. They'll have to go back on. So we're going to let the water completely drain out, and then we'll pull the belt off. And also, make sure your pump is off because you will drain your pool. So first things first, put your pool in service mode or turn the pump off. So next step is, now that the water is drained almost completely, it's taking the pressure off this canister. So now we can loosen off the belt. So you just need to get it tight, and then you can loosen it off with your hand. And it just has to screw out far enough to clear the edge of the bracket. And this swings out, and this comes loose. So sometimes it's a little stuck. So I'm gonna take that belt off, set it off to the side. Bolt fell off, that's okay. Next thing we do, we're gonna take this, so there might be some more water that comes out, but just kind of knock it loose. Pull the top off, and there's your filters. So you can see these filters are really dirty. So a lot of this is just dirt in the air, dirt that's floating on top of the pool. It can be lotion, it can be suntan lotion, skin cells, all the nasty stuff. This more than likely is like from trees blowing in the air. So like cottonwood trees are really bad. But anyway, this is all the dirt and debris that your filters catch. One important thing to point out too, the reason we choose to use cartridge filters over sand filters is because cartridge filters actually filter down to about 5 micron, where sand filters filter down to about 20 micron. They both have their pros and cons, but this is why we typically choose to use cartridge filters in a residential setting. So another important thing is, buy good cartridge filters, because buy them from your local pool guy or buy them from us. If you buy these on Amazon, you get what you pay for. A good set of filters, you can wash them 4, 5, 6 times before you have to replace them. So we have customers call all the time that get cheap filters on Amazon and they just don't last. So anyway, now next we're going to pull this little top part off. You want to make sure this little screen right here is clean before you go back on with it, but I'll set this off to the side as well. And then we'll just pull each filter out, we'll take it outside and we'll rinse them off, and I'll show you that process. So the best thing to do is water hose, don't use a pressure washer because it will damage, because this is paper. So we'll always just use a spray nozzle. Actually, the one I really prefer is the skinny one, and you could just open it. But anyway, this works. So we're simply just going to turn our water on and just start rinsing. So you want to angle your water down so you're washing all that debris down. And you can see how I'm cleaning it, how it's starting to come clean. This is actually a newer set of filters. These filters are probably only about 6 weeks old. So the more often you clean them, the longer they will last. Most typically on a residential setting, you'll need to clean your filters 2 to 3 times a season. It'll take you 10 or 15 minutes per filter to get them clean, completely clean. Okay, so you can see the difference. We just rinsed this filter off as opposed to what came out. So yeah, I mean, this is a huge difference in your pool because the water's going to flow through so much better. And also, it's going to help you keep your pool cleaner, because if you're having trouble, if you're getting algae or your pool's not getting clean, this is the reason, because of that. This sets in the bottom of your filter. So once you get your filters out, you're going to want to get all the debris out of the bottom. You can use a shop vac, you can use paper towels, whatever, but get all the dirt and gravel and nasty stuff out of the bottom. This is your plate that your filter set on. There's no right or wrong way. You'll just place it back in there, and then we didn't clean all the filters, but we're just basically showing you how to take it apart and put it back together. So we'll start placing our filters back in there. Now, so you can see, I knew exactly where to put the plate, but if you need to, you can twist it and turn it. Or this, we're not blocking this pipe. So we're gonna take our top part and put back on. Same way, it's pretty easy. I just simply pop right back in the top of the filters and keep them lined up. This piece goes back over the top of your stand pot. Make sure your filter screen here is clean. Those just pop right back on. Just kind of give them a gentle tap. Okay, now you're ready to put your top back on. But before you do that, this is a giant O-ring that sits on top. So you want to make sure this guy's clean. You can use a paper towel. Sometimes just use my hand. You can actually rinse this off, but you just want to make sure that this seal is clean around here. So honestly, a paper towel or a rag is the best way to do it. Or if you have your shop vac out here, you can also hit it with a vacuum. So I'm going to lay my little O-ring back up here so I can get to it a little easier. Maybe. That's not quite. This one's a little harder because it's a little stretched out, so it's not one to stay tight. There you go. That was not that easy. Okay, now then, same way here. Want to make sure we're clean here. Most time you are. Try to set it on concrete or something where it's not getting a lot of trash in it. But you just set this guy back on the top, just like so. You want to position it where your pressure gauge is pointed out, or at least where you can see it. So, got this put back together. We'll put our belt back on. This slides right over the groove. Same way with this. I want to get this band out where it's easy to get to. So I'm going to put my bolt back in, or fastener. So this only goes in one way. So you can see here, I'm having to screw it out further once it popped off, but there's a little groove in here that this fits in. It only goes one way. I see some people a lot of times put it back like this, but this is wrong. It goes in sideways. There's a groove in here cut out for that nut. So we're going to loosen this off so we can just enough to get it back over our band. That pops back in. I'm going to hand tighten it. Okay, now I'm going to grab my trusty ratchet. I'm sweating like crazy. Push up, button! So I'm going to start tightening it up. And you want to get this thing so tight that this closes back up. And I'll show you how. So I'm going to get it as much as I can with my wrench here. If I don't keep hitting it with my... So once I get it pretty tight, I'm going to take, if you have a rubber mallet, it works good, but you can take your pliers and you just want to kind of give this a few love taps around to get this seated up on that O-ring a little bit better. And it'll go even further. Okay, so I've got it as tight as I think it needs to be, but one true indication is when you turn the pump back on, if it's dripping a little water, you probably need to tighten it up a little more. So we've got everything put back together. We've got the top on. We've got the belt back on. The next thing is we got to put our plug back in. And like I said before, this whole plug, this normally doesn't come out. Usually the cap just comes off, but somebody just got it too tight last time, so the whole thing came out. But it's fine if it all comes out. It all threads all back together. This also brings up a good point too, like in a winterization, like when we're winterizing our pool, this is the plug you're going to take out if you winterize your pool. Okay, tight. Big muscles. Okay, so got that back on, got our plug back in. Now we're ready to turn our pump back on. So I'm going to turn the pump back on just to show you how to start the filter back up or how to start the pool back up. Since we opened up this filter, we introduced a lot of air back into the system. So this canister typically is full of water. Right now it's full of air. So this is the next key part of your filter. This is your air bleeder, this little knob right here. So I'm going to open this knob up, and as the pump primes and the system primes, it's going to push all the air because this is the highest point on your pool. Being the pool water, the pool equipment, this is your highest point. So all the air is coming to here. So I'm going to open this bleeder valve up, and just as this water fills, it fills from here. Well, actually it fills from right here. It's going to start pushing the air up and out. And you'll hear this getting louder and louder and louder as the pump primes. Depending on your pump, but you should prime within 30 seconds, or maybe a minute or two. One other thing too is if you come out and your pressure gauge is high, if you've opened your chlorinator or something, sometimes you might have a little air in here and you can open this up. You can see right now if I close this, it's showing 0 because the pump is not primed yet. So once the pump primes, this pressure gauge is going to start to climb. You can see the needle moving now. But sometimes if you've opened your chlorinator or your pump, the pump basket, sometimes your pressure is high because you've got air and you simply just need to bleed it. But for right now, you can see how it goes down when I open it. So if I close it right now, it's showing 15. I'm going to start bleeding the air off. All right, so voila, we're done. We got the filter cleaned. We got it put back together. You can see our pressure gauge now is showing about 15 PSI, but keep in mind we only cleaned one filter for purposes of this video. So normal operating pressure on a pool system is gonna run at least 10 PSI usually, so 10 PSI is pretty normal. But anyway, so we got it put back together, and that is the nuts and bolts of cleaning a cartridge filter. Hey, thanks for watching our Hydro-Scapes Pool School videos. Please follow us on YouTube at Hydro-Scapes. Like, subscribe, any comments, put any comments you want in the videos, any suggestions on other videos you might want to see. And we really appreciate your feedback, and we really appreciate you watching.